Wait a minute here. I need this. Uh, yeah. And and I sort of like it if we can see both of us, but this computer has gotten sophisticated behind it. Wait a minute. Uh, there we go. There's my lovely. There you go. Have some oatmeal. Come on. Folks, you need to be, watching what's going on games, right? So some pretty strong animosities or whatever unfolding, and here's my daughter, otherwise she would just be alone and not know. Yeah, yeah, get out of there. If they're like mean or something like that, just go ahead and get out and go somewhere else. Here we go. So yeah, we're having breakfast there. Let's see, and I'm trying to see where I was on this machine. I'm sort of and this is one of the things that oh, okay, hold on. I don't know what my background was here, but I really, man, this I've got it. I've got this computer really messed up as far as my layout for my stream, but uh, I'd really like once. Oh, oh, she's nice, bro. She's nice. Purple Dracula, Rainbow Unicorn Girl. Purple Dracula, Rainbow Unicorn Girl. What? Ava is her name. Hey, Ava. Mm, we're on Gotcha, right? And this is the thing. I don't want to go in there right now because I really need to focus on feeding her so she'll grow big fast. Do you want to grow big? Do you want to be a big, tall girl? I'm sorry. I'm gonna wipe it. Yeah, just wipe it on my hand. That'll teach me. It's just like, how dare you, right? How dare you? Got oatmeal on my hand. I'm sorry. Mm. But I'm new at being a dad. Not new at being a husband because I've got stories to tell. I married a Mongolian girl, Chinese, but born. She had a Beijing hukou, so she was born in Beijing, but she was Mongolian. And if you watch classic Chinese cartoons, there's one classic Mongolian cartoon which is called Hailey Boo, right? And it's about a really good Mongolian boy that he saves a little squirrel, and it turns out that the little squirrel that he saved from being killed that was her manifestation in the forest, but she was a goddess, a daughter of the mountain king of the great mountain, right? And the mountain king grants Hailey a boon, allowing him to understand the speech of animals. This is classic Chinese. And I just, you know, in America, you don't get generally any portrayals of Mongolians that are good. Mongolian is sort of like, we have the word mongoloid, right? To give you an idea, like a Mongolian, right? That's the word that we used to use in the United States for retarded, Down syndrome. Mongol, mongoloid, like a Mongol race person. How awful is that? So I gave her the benefit of the doubt. That's my first wife. But what I came to find out is that yeah, Mongolians in their culture, they're known for cutting each other down, like the crab mentality, where Mongolia has suffered from backwardness because as culturally as cohesive groups, when one Mongolian like tries to get more leadership or more power role, the others organize together to knock that person down, which is sort of like crab mentality or whatever like that. And I often think, you see it in different cultures. Um, so I don't like to generalize. It's talked about the tall poppy syndrome or whatever. I say that people living in the South Pacific, Australians have this, and New Zealanders are reportedly do this kind of thing. And when you see it emerging in different cultures, you have to ask yourself: is it something to do with the environment or the conditions that the people are growing under? But the Mongol, empire. One of the reasons why it didn't last is when the big, Genghis and Kublai Khan or whatever, uh, when they were gone, they went back to their old ways, and nobody powerful enough emerged, and so they withdrew from these big holdings. Now, there's a lot of other factors involved with, like the collapse of the Yuan dynasty, which is a Mongolian dynasty in China, could arguably be said to have been precipitated by the onset of the bubonic plague, um, that weakened their hold on power. People didn't know exactly how the disease was being transmitted, and they were afraid of it, and so they were running away from public places, and it gave resistance movements an opportunity to develop necessary cohesion to make a successful revolt uh, against the Mongol rule. And some guy that, yeah, um, like a wandering guy that wandered around between temples and stuff like that. His name was Zhu Yanjiang, and he was not a super educated guy, but he started to get involved in military exploits during the chaos of the plague and everything. And once he got a significantly strong hold on power, he began a process of wiping out his enemies. And this is, I guess, the story, the beginning of the Ming Dynasty. Founded the Ming Dynasty, which is a Chinese dynasty that sort of had a golden age, really did. And Chinese people that I talk to, and some of the professors in courses I've taken on China, make the case that the Ming Dynasty was weakened by its success, that they became decadent. You know, 吃喝嫖赌. The men were eating, drinking, whoring, and gambling, and that was a factor in the collapse of the Ming and the conquest uh, of the Qing, which is a Manchurian ethnic group in the north. The Manzu. So when we say Manchu, right, it should be Manzu. The Zhu is the group, the ethnic group, and Man is the name of the group, Manzu, right? And we say Manchu, right? Manchuria, Manchurians. And in terms of engaging with the industrializing world around them, they were, yeah, not doing what they should have been done, and Pu Yi, which was the last Chinese emperor, um, he was a Qing emperor, not a Chinese emperor. Oh, dang it! Try your best. Careful, don't go too fast. Hold it. Oh. Hold it. Yeah, good. Yay. Up. Hold it. Careful. Don't go too fast when you get close. Yeah, good. Well, I shouldn't tell you how to play. You can play better than me. She's on an obby. I wish I could show it. Um, Trying to see where I was with this machine. Well, should I bring this down here? Maybe I should. Um, why is it? Okay, I've got one webcam that is. Yeah, okay. So I can open that one. That's how I had that set up. And that gives us a better view. Wow, she ate the whole oatmeal. Would you like some chocolate milk? Sip it. Come on. Yeah. What's that? Is it good? Is it hot still? Okay. Boing pong. Oh, I remember. Okay, where I was with this thing. Yeah. All right. Let me see. I wanna see if my thingamajigger, the whatchamabob, is yeah. No, this is weird. Hmm. I'm gonna work on cleaning up this. Let's see. Window capture. What was this window capture capturing? It's a VLC window capture. It needs to be deleted. There's no game. I'm still working on learning how to best run this Streamlabs. And my stream seems to be going good. So. But I've got different setups going on different computers. So this morning's stream I was on the machine behind me there. And I just, like, one of the things I'm doing is, yeah, I want to start a school. And I think it's a, like, and this is a thing. If you got some computers and you're into game development or something like that and would like to try a experimental school, I have this idea. The United States of America, right, and a lot of countries, are very, very far behind countries like China and Singapore in science and math. And I think it's a crisis. You don't want the entire country of people to just lose the ability to, it's like consumerism is sort of really like termites. It's just destroying a lot of countries gradually from the inside. If the consumer economy doesn't need advanced technology or, here's a case. Here's an example. Right now, I observe in the state of Georgia, the real estate. God, man, people can't buy houses. They're ridiculously overpriced. And people get financing where they have no hope of ever having any property. 30 years go by. I see people, some close friends of mine that get set up with mortgages where They paid for 30 years and died, and they never touched the principal. They never touched the principal. And in one case, I don't want to dox people, but the person didn't know what principal was. Right? Is that who, you know? And you start talking about compound interest. The guy never graduated from high school. Now, let's look at the major businesses in Georgia. You got insurance, right, to insure all the mortgages, right, and and cars and stuff, and you've got finance, right, and you've got insurance and finance, and real estate. They're very much intertwined, right, and auto sales, right, and then little infrastructure, building roads and stuff like that. Not a huge, you know, Georgia in terms of food independence. I don't really see it. I would like to see it. I think it would be good. But you have to ask yourself, what interest do actuary scientists have in people in the region where they're making their money knowing about mathematics or understanding that their insurance is never going to help them in an emergency, right? They're setting up a legal system that makes them legally required in order to get loans that they'll never be able to pay back, legally required to pay this expensive insurance. And insurance is the biggest it's the biggest business in the country. Why should they want people to be all understand actuary science and probability and how the insurance industry works? What do they have to gain from that? They could be really actually hurt by it, right? So I make the case that, hey, you know, eh, if you're vulnerable, like the Native Americans were vulnerable. They were naked. They didn't even have horses early on, and they could just be, yeah, destroyed, right? Well, right now, in terms of knowing about what financing is, what interest is, um, what inherent and intrinsic value mean, right? What independence, physical independence means. Independence in the United States is sort of like some propaganda thing. We're Declaration of Independence. Uh, all men are created equal, except the people that are not human beings, black people or something like that. That's like independence, right? Independence should mean that you can live somewhere in peace, and you have the ability to continue to live and have offspring or whatever. And independently, Americans can't do it. They got to be down there at Waffle House flipping those burgers and stuff, right? Because they're slaves. Wage slavery is what we have. Conditions of slavery in the United States exceed the number of slaves that were landed in the transatlantic slave period. Don't take my word for it, but go look up estimates. I think it's like 288,000 or something like that. Slaves were captured and landed in the United States proper during the period of the transatlantic slave. Is it 288 or 388? I think is the estimate. The one that they flaunt around. I'm sure they don't. Nobody really knows. But people living on the Global Slavery Index. If you search Global Slavery Index, there's a web page that looks at how much slavery is in the world, and how many people are living in conditions of slavery, and that number currently in the United States is in excess of 400,000, right? Which is, and this is one thing that I would teach in the elementary school, and the kids wouldn't believe me. You don't have slavery anymore. What are conditions of slavery? Well, you can't get up in the morning and do what you want to do. And if you were really on your own, you would want to grow food so you could be able to eat, right? If you were really on your own, you'd want to, be able to build shelters and stuff like that. You'd want to look around you to a community, to their needs, and try to provide needs and set up trade. So people that were good at, the way the country was really built was on subsistence agriculture. First, they exterminated the weaker people that were living here, and then they were very backward, and they began subsistence agriculture, and then that's how the United States developed. And strategically, it's in a really good position. It's hard to attack militarily. You know, that's one of the things about the Monroe Doctrine and the policy that Cuba, belongs to the United States and all this stuff, that it's our property and stuff. It's part of the international military strategic plan to be strongly defendable, and being such, being in a naturally easily defensible place on the planet, it's important to remember that just like the people that lived here before, the Native Americans, which are coming back, uh, we could become lazy and become vulnerable just out of, I if I'm in Georgia, and I've said this before, but if people, yeah, if people come up to me and say you're the biggest math genius I ever met, that's bad, man, because I am not. I can barely, I can state some proofs, or yeah, I can do some proofs. I know how to do mathematical induction. I know fundamentals of logic. And yeah, I had a young rabbi in California who was like depressed and just I was talking about times that I was depressed, and I talked about my high school sweetheart catching me on the rebound. She was trying to ditch somebody. She's 4 years older than me. And she's trying to ditch somebody, a guy that she had lived with when she was in Florida when she went to college for 4 years, right? Trying to get rid of him because she's going to move back up here. And so she hooked up with me. And but I was not, I was just somebody that liked her, that was there. And it was a rebound thing. So eventually she was like, "Well, I'm gonna have to leave to get more money." Oh God, I'm losing my train of thought. Um, that's all right. I'll come back around to it again. Yeah. I love. Okay, one of the things, and I'm getting distracted because my daughter is talking. And this is one of the things that I would like to say to all parents is like this culture that we're in now, where everybody can make their own TV show or whatever. You got a lot of people. Caven, like my daughter's watching Caven, and Caven has a successful stream, and him and his dad. I mean, they get on, and they nonstop talk, right? And so you see her, she's like, she's got a lot to say, right? Just like Dad, she watches Dad, and she watches Caven, and she watches Cookie Swirl or whatever, and these streamers or whatever really has stimulated her to talk. And man, we put them in elementary schools, and we're like, shut up, stop talking. That's all we do. Uh, we're gonna be in trouble. You guys are not gonna be able to pass the test. Oh, you mean y'all would be in trouble if we don't pass the test? Oh, okay, we won't pass it then. Cause yeah, you get me in trouble, I'm gonna get you in trouble. I love it. All right, you going fast here. I gotta get her some. Would you like some vanilla wafer cookies? You want to take a sip of chocolate milk? How's that? Now it's going out. Yeah. 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 Good. She had a whole thing of oatmeal. Shoot. Okay. You know what I should do? I should do some work. I'm trying to get this computer set up in a good kind of way. I'm gonna check. Uh, yeah, I can see the other machine. Groovy. Oh, I've got five computers. Oh, yeah. I was trying to talk about. a school, right? Like an online school. And if you watch my stream and you're interested in game development and streaming and stuff, contact me and we could do some. I'm planning to do some free classes, online classes, and I'd like to try to get like-minded people together and say maybe we could make a new school, a new kind of school where instead of paying attention to the local government, we just use mathematics and social studies and science and English to do things that all of those subjects are used for, right? And dispense with the whole thing the state of Georgia has set up, right? Because it's apparent, to me, having lived here all these years, that the possibility is strong that there are many people, not everybody, but many people who they everything's going fine if people are stupid and don't know how to grow their own food and totally dependent and need welfare, but here and can go to get financing for a house and get set up where they live their entire life. They're like 25 years old. They get married, right? They buy a house with a 30-year mortgage, and they eat fast food, right? And 30 years later, they're in such a terrible health. They've got diabetes. They got to get angioplasty. They're having heart failure and stuff. Uh, um, and they haven't paid any of the loan back, so it's just very clear cut. The person dies, and the owner, the person that financed the thing, has just been collecting money, just like rent. And the person dies, and they just come and take it away. Why do any of the people in real estate in this state, or any state for that matter, really have interest in people understanding math and people understanding financing? And I'm just going to ask questions and stuff. Understanding intrinsic value. They don't have any interest in that, right? They don't have, why, it's like I said, I don't want to dox anybody, but recently somebody asked me, explain, financing and interest to me. And I said, well, financing, like if you're going to, it's like, let me say it really simply. Right? You want to buy something like a spoon. You want to buy a spoon for $1, right? But you don't have $1. Well, this financing person comes up and they're very nice and they're like, well, I'll buy the spoon for you and I'll give it to you for only $2. But I know you don't have even $1. Right? So I'll save the spoon or I'll give you the spoon. I'll give you the spoon right now. I'll give it to you. And it's going to be $2, but that's all right because with what you make, you can pay back the $2 with low monthly payments, right? And then if something happens and you can't make a payment, I will take the spoon away from you, and you don't get any of the money that you paid back, right? Yeah, and I'll take the spoon away from you and sell it to somebody else again. I try to do that over and over again. I get very rich doing that, right? Well, I was telling the person that I was like, that's where somebody sells you $1 for $2, right? And the person was like, "You idiot!" I was stupid to even ask you, you stupid idiot. And then they went to a dealership, and they were financed for $20,000 for a $10,000 vehicle, and yeah. And then the repairs were so they ended up paying more than $2 because the vehicle also needed very expensive repairs. The stuff. It sounds outlandish. The person that was cursing me when I tried to explain in a very simple way that it was a ripoff. Uh, uh, they were like, "That's so stupid. Nobody would ever do that." But then when they signed the contract and they got back, the first time they looked at repair costs and maintenance costs and stuff like that. They're like, man, this is a big bill every month, and blah blah blah. How many? And then they started going, oh, how many months is it? This many months, and that's when they found out that they were going to be paying for a $10,000 vehicle in excess of 20,000, in excess of $20,000, which is exactly what I said, and that's what financing is all about. Now, I really, yeah. Can anybody tell me why a car dealership wants anybody in their state to understand that? What do they stand to gain? They would lose their whole business if everybody knew, right? Yeah. So when I say A equals P times parentheses 1 plus I over N to the NT power, people are like, what is this shit, man? I don't want to learn this, and it's no use to learn it. And it's like, man, with that, you're not even touching insurance costs and escrow and stuff like that. And you don't even know A equals P parentheses 1 plus I over N to the NT power, and you don't want to know. And this condition or state continues like that where you are. Maybe it's not an accident. Maybe there's people that like it that way. They like you to be ignorant. Because they just fleece you, right? But the problem is, and I wish people would begin to look at this. If you're living in a place and there's no development going on, and if there was some crisis or whatever, people would just starve. People could not, survive. They don't have any kind of thing resembling independence, and they're all in these big, huge mortgages they'll never be able to pay off, right? They'll never be able to own a house or whatever like that. The ones that get out of it are the ones that learn about real estate and start flipping their house or whatever, get a real estate license, and then start selling real estate. Those are the smart ones, and they get out of it. What interest do they have? And when they realize what a easy game they have in a state where everybody's really uneducated, what interest do they have? Why would they support electing representatives that were making everybody get really smart and ask a lot of questions? Yeah. I worked in a mathematics assistance lab, and I used to tutor for many years. I think around 7 years in multiple mathematics assistance labs, preparing people for the first and second actuary exams because they were going to become actuary scientists. And I don't think today I could pass the second actuary exam. I might not even be able to pass the first one, right? But back then I was salty enough to do it. And you see, the deal with insurance is you look at, what are you doing with insurance? You want to collect premiums and never pay anything out, right? You want to use the most advanced mathematics you can. You're taking a gamble, right? You have a risk, right? Which is the person that you loan money to. Maybe the property will get destroyed or something like that. Or if you insure a person's. All right, looks good. You're insuring the health insurance or whatever like that. It's a real difficult game if all of a sudden they get sick. So when you give them life insurance or whatever, you're really looking at a bunch of probabilities, whether or not they will get sick or whether or not their house will burn down. And what you discover, like when, and this happens out here sometimes, people, insurance, like my grandma's house, I could set my grandma's house on fire and then we collect all this insurance and it'd be so much because it's insured for so much money. Well, if something like that happens, they look at probabilities and stuff like that, and they're going to be like, well, the probability that we like that's high is that you burn the house down, and your house might actually burn down. People don't realize that generally, if some accident happens and your insured house burns down, you're in danger of having the insurance company try to get you in prison for arson. That's a danger, right? You could be totally guiltless. And this one incident, I know that it was like the grandchildren or whatever, one of the sons or whatever got, wow, it's insured for that much money? That would be so much money. Let's just burn it and set it on fire. And then they were putting him in prison. They were like, arson. uh, we're going to gamble this arson and try to prove that you did it. And the fact was he had done it. And so it was fairly, straightforward to catch him and not pay anything. And that's the thing with insurance. You want to collect all these premiums, but you don't want to pay a hospital bill, or you don't want to pay for destruction of property or anything like that. That's not what it's about. What it's about is making the gamble in so effective a way that 99.9% of the time, all you do is just sit there and collect money and never pay anything out. And when it gets to the point of making a payout, you resist, you fight tooth and nail to not pay anything. And then if there's a big disaster, a lot of property is destroyed, and a lot of people make insurance claims. Generally, what the insurance company will do is their corporation will go out of business, just to file bankruptcy or whatever. So you're giving yourself a false sense of security. Wouldn't it be better if our lives and our society was ordered in such a way that if a disaster did happen, we could come together and help each other and see to it that everybody was taken care of, et cetera, et cetera. But we don't. And I don't, I know, like, the state of Georgia, one of the valuable resources of the state, and I have looked at this in the past, but I haven't been looking at it recently. We have kaolinite, and if you go down there where kaolinite is, the country has not developed. And I see institutional racism as a factor. That's a factor, certainly is. But around the world, there's a general United States policy supporting this idea of comparative advantage, that places that don't have mining or mineral extraction or industrial oil extraction, petroleum processing, industrial infrastructure, they don't want you to develop it. They want you to just kind of go along, and then America or somebody owned by America will eventually come by and extract the resource from under the ground. It's not any of your business, right? They don't like, as a matter of policy, people saying, well, this mineral resource or this natural resource is under our land. We want a share of it, because these are not profitable industries generally. They're the least profitable. They're profitable, but they're not profitable if you share, the profits with the people that live there. So generally, it's important to look at American foreign policy around the world. We United States, if they're gonna get to Russian territory and former Soviet republics, and control territories on the road to those places, right? They need to have safe passage, right? And Crimea, for example, in Ukraine, is a deep water port, and it was called by Hitler an unsinkable aircraft carrier, right? So all the Soviet Union developed industrial infrastructure in Ukraine, it was against the United States policy for that to happen. They were agrarian, they were growing a lot of food, they produced a lot of food for the region, and according to Ricardo and comparative advantage, they hurt world prosperity by developing their industry, right? Right? But the Soviets developed it anyway, and if you turn Ukraine against Russia, then all of a sudden Russia doesn't have interest in all their industrial development that they did in Ukraine. And it's like Ukraine, it's kind of silly to get into this whole thing of fascism again. We'll put, the idea behind fascism is like, we'll set basically target weak ethnic groups for destruction, plunder them, and we'll put everything under the control of a small group or one individual, right? And he'll be able to run it in such a way that we'll win in the end. Really, generally, it just causes a big reversal, because it just can't go on. It's a very primitive and repeatedly failed form of government. So this Azov battalion in Ukraine, or wherever, this reemergence of this fascist Nazi ideology, it's real. I mean, they're targeting Jews and saying that the Jews control everything. The Jews don't. I'm Jewish. I don't control anything. Just trying to get food on the table, for God's sake. Not part of any kind of cabal. And Jews are they're just people, you know. They're very different, you know. Some of them are Sephardic, some are Ashkenazi. A lot of Jews are entirely secular. They've been living, you know, in Christian dominated culture for so many centuries. They're just like, religion is nothing but trouble. I have a very close Jewish friend, deeply loved Jewish friend, and she would say, you know, when somebody even mentions religion, I reach for my gun. So the idea that Jews are all in it together, you know, they're in some kind of plot or whatever, it's just phony. It's like some successful group, you want to target them, and because they have stuff, you want to kill them all, take their stuff, right, and then run your but you know that can't last. Sure, you know the Germans were trying to copy the United States and England, but see England, you know they try to kill everybody in the Indian subcontinent, and they succeeded. You know their policy. 1.8 billion excess deaths in the period of the British Raj. That's like all the deaths in World War One and World War Two combined. Rudolf Hess loved it. You know, he was like, it's a tragedy that we're in a war with England. At the last minute, he fled and flew out of Germany to try to get peace talks with England. We need to join hands together as Aryan brothers, blah, blah, blah. Numbskull. The Brits are trying to not call attention to what they're doing, right? You know, like they were grabbing all this territory in Africa and then vilifying the Congo. They supported Sir Arthur Conan Doyle to write The Curse of the Congo, which is a historical treasure in that it was like an imperial advocated expose of colonialism in Africa in a region that Britain wanted to grab, right? And but they had the Belgians were in the way, and they wanted to get control of it, right? So they're like, let's have this popular writer. He's the writer of Sherlock Holmes, right? You know, everybody knows Sherlock Holmes. We'll have him write what is it, The Curse of Congo, right? Or The Crime of the Congo, it's called. You can get it on archive.org, and it's a great expose of the horrors of colonialism. But the English were doing it much worse under the period of the British Raj, and spreading it all to Asia. Of course, the French were all across North Africa and stuff, and they still are. Uh, um, but we got bigger issues at hand, and nothing is ever settled by violence, and it's extremely wasteful. The tremendous cost, you know, you get into this cycle, and I make this comparison. Like if you look at the rise of the Ottoman Empire, look at the rise of the Ottoman Empire. You know, you had this expansion. In some sense, you know, they control a lot of territory. They need a bigger army, so they really needed more grassland to feed more horses for a larger army. So they expand, they invade a bunch of territory or whatever. Well, now their territory is bigger, right? So they need bigger armies and more horses, and that requires more grass, right? So you got to expand some more, and it's like this endless cycle. And I think it's very profound if you look back in the Bible to the book of Samuel. It's very in their ideology. It was like, okay, you guys were in Canaan and you were promised this land, right? And then you screwed it. You know, you sold your brother into slavery, and he was not there, and so you were not prepared when a famine came, and y'all all ended up in Egypt. And then after some time, you became slaves in Egypt, and then I got you out, right, from under Pharaoh the king, right? Um, I got you out, and I bring you back into Canaan. Now you have to fight to get some territory, right? Well, you know they're in this period of judges, and they don't have pharaohs anymore. They don't have kings anymore, and they don't have
Can I make
messiahs
a
anymore.
game?
Sure, you can. You need to start Roblox Studio, right? So in
Can
Samuel, if
I
you read
make
the
a
first book of
game
Samuel,
for you?
yeah, sure, they asked for a king, right? They asked for a messiah, right? Anoint. Yeah, that's what it means. Oil somebody. Messiah means oil, like the Messiah, the prophet, God says, oil this guy, and you rub oil on him, and he's all shiny and sparkly or whatever, and then he's the king, right? Right. So the Israelites asked for a king. Oh, we're starting Roblox Studio. Awesome. This is, yeah, she's like, I want to make a game. Cool, cool, cool. And I want to do, yeah, I want to offer this. If we get enough people together, we could do some game development classes, online classes. We need students, and I want to offer it for free. What I'd like to say is, look, I've been doing computer animation and computer graphics and stuff for most of my life. I can teach it. I would teach Unreal Engine. I could teach some. I teach a lot of things. Maya, 3 Studio Max. I could teach Poser. We could teach Bryce. We could teach DAZ Studio. All kind of things we could teach. And also Unity. Did I say Unreal Engine? Blender. Plugins and stuff like that. And but we need people that want to do it. And what I like to say is this: if we get some people together and set up an online curriculum, right? And get enough students together, we can communicate with the families and say, look, we got this opportunity. The United States is really behind, right, in terms of math and science, and just generally the education system is bad, right? There's institutional racism, and there's conflict of interest, right? People that like the situation that we currently have because they enjoy personal gain, finance companies, etc., insurance companies. Maybe, yeah, that's a factor in why there's no change, right? So if we come together and we're interested in change and interested in preparing ourselves, and we should be, if we become very backward, right, we're facing destruction and disaster, right? But if we could come together, and my idea is this, we're not going to teach. We call it a vocational school, right? We're not going to teach any standards or whatever like that, because what teaching game development does is it teaches people that there are reasons why they read, that they need to read, right? It teaches people that there's reasons why they need math, right? And also, I'd like to underscore, if you work with physics engines and computer modeling and stuff like that, you can still be an architect. You can still be an engineer. In fact, you've got a good leg up if you can make a computer model of a skyscraper. That's pretty big. Most people can't do that. I can easily teach. I taught in an architecture department for a number of years. Uh, um, how to make computer models of skyscrapers and stuff like that. Yeah, allow people to immersively go into them in a game environment. I can teach that. I know all that stuff. Uh, I just need the proper motivation. Like when I was doing that in China and teaching movie making in China and so on. Oh wow, look at that! You started with that. That looks incredible. She made this big. She picked a very cool game template to start out with, and it's got a beautiful sky. Now, when you want to make it and go into it, you just get me to help you because I'll show you how to publish it, and it will show in your profile, and any of your friends can go and visit it. Okay. So good. If you want to put stuff down, you can go and do it. Yeah, good. All right. So she's already, yeah. Look at how engaged she is. She's already very interested in the whole thing. I can make these things. Yeah, sure you can make them. Right. That's what people do. And the reason why you have all these Roblox games is because kids are out there making them. And yeah, so that's my idea. My point. Okay, go get the potty. All right, I gotta go help. I gotta help her. I gotta go help her. I'm gonna go to intermission. I'll be right back. Get the potty and give it to me. Okay, I understand that. Gotta rush to get the potty and get some chicken and rice. Oh, this needs to be heated up. Can we heat it up? That's for sure. coming back with the food. Let's see.
I am done.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, thank you.
Some chicken? Chicken and rice? You want me to put it here? I don't know. Yeah. Some rice?
No.
No?
Hey.
Oh, sorry. Dad's coming. You have a little chocolate milk? Mm? Chocolate milk? Yeah. Gotta drink it while it's hot. Don't let it get cold. Go, 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 go. Wow, she's really drinking it, buddy. All right. I don't want to. Yeah, trying to get back on. Hold on. Let me reach my other hand around. See, live scene. There we go. Yeah, she's really latched onto that. The chocolate milk. It's a perfect temperature, I think, right now. I think she's gonna drain it. Mmm, mmm, mmm. Wow. Some good chocolate milk. All right, so let's see. Can we get? some chicken? Don't do that. Piece of chicken fell down. If yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and make a mess there. Let's see. Here, try a bite. Chicken. Hello, chicken. Come on, nibble it. Good. Take a bite. Chicken. Yeah, chicken. Yummy. Yummy. Did he wash his hands? Yeah, I just washed my hands twice. Lord. It's a baby, for goodness sake. Let's try this. A little bit of dip. Try that. Don't like it? Well. Wow. That's good. Mom made her some kind of dip, but she don't like it. Well, yeah. Ruined it for you, huh? This is good chicken. You want to try again? Trust me. Okay, there you go. That's just straight chicken. No tricks. God, I wish I show what she's doing because she's building a Roblox scene. She just dropped a spawn point right here. Good. Okay. Yeah. Look like me. Do you mind? She like eats one grain of rice off the spoon. Very picky eater. Not me. I would eat almost anything. Ooh, what happened to him? You just want to eat a little piece of rice, a couple of grains. Won't even take one full bite. God. Gonna pinch you. Oh, come on, dear. My goodness. Dang it! I'll eat it. Nice, delicious piece of chicken. Oh, what is this decapitated Roblox head thing? And why did you pick that? So you think YouTube Kids is like it's like kosher for kids, right? It's got violence, man. Yeah. She puts her elbow out. That's pretty good. That's a garbage bag. Somebody was killed taking out the trash. What? All right. Yeah, again, and it bears repeating. I'd like to try to do it, like try to get like-minded people together and do a school. Like if you're gonna do game development and computer animation and computer modeling and all that stuff like that, you really need math. Yeah, you need some arithmetic to be able to do that. You need some trigonometry, right? And the thing that I think is a value of it is it's like in the schools down here in Georgia, it's like kids are like, this is not helping me. Yeah, play Fortnite. It's not, right? You could learn things about playing Fortnite and improving your game or whatever and stuff if you're around people that understood brain science and stuff. Um, and I think it's good. You if you go to the person, teach them to be free. Don't teach them to be slaves. Maybe that's kind of a Jewish thing with Passover coming. Don't teach people to be slaves. They should stop asking for a Messiah. That's bad, right? You don't want that. Yeah, in Samuel it says a Messiah is bad. It's a rejection of God. And in fact, Samuel the prophet gives it out as a statement from God. So don't Samuel, they're asking for another Pharaoh, an oily one, a Messiah. I knew they were going to do that. But don't feel bad. It's not you they're rejecting. It's me. God. Right? Right? That's in the book of Samuel. So to me, it's
Water, please.
what? Water? Oh, you want some chocolate milk? You got it.
Water, please.
Okay, let me get it. I gotta go get water. Hold on. So. Here comes the water. Enough? Okay. Like it? Need it to be cold? Fridge. Cool it down. some chicken? Here. Yeah. Yeah. Bite it. Yeah, there you go. You eat all your chicken, I'll give you a nice chocolate chip cookie. Wouldn't you like that? But you gotta eat your chicken. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? So, trying to give her some chicken. Want some chicken? She's still chewing the other piece. I'll leave her alone. I really, yeah, what I need here on this computer, I'm gradually developing a plan for how to have every computer set up. And I like if you want to work, if you're in my area and you'd like to you like my idea of a school, starting a private like vocational school or something like that. Uh, you can work over here with me. Uh, Call me up. Have to vet you to make sure that you're not Hannibal Lecter. And do a background check for kids that work with children. We always have to have that. That's a given. But if those things clear or whatever, um, I have a lot of computers in work areas here, and I'm setting up uh, the different computers around the house with the capability to stream uh, with the idea that we could expand to have multiple classes going. There you go. Okay, good. Just took a bite. Oh, mm, good chicken. Wow, you got a lot going on there. I wish I had this on. What is that? It's like a little blood spurt. It's a blood spurt particle system. What is that? What does that mean? Yeah, 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 yeah. Mm, another little piece of chicken down the hatch. That's cool. But yeah, I'm trying to configure each computer, find the ideal setup, and I don't want to be getting all this stuff from the cloud or whatever. They say that Streamlabs puts all your stuff and your things on the cloud, but I don't know. Seems like a waste of bandwidth if you got it locally. Uh,
Me too.
mm, good chicken. Sweetie, could you go up here and hit File and then hit Save? You want to save your work, right?
No.
Well, if you save it, it's safer. So if Roblox breaks or crashes, your work won't be lost. All you have to do is go File, Save. This is so difficult. Because she's so engaged, she's like, no, don't try to mess me up. Okay, dear.
I want a hug.
You want a hug? Okay. Here.
No, a hug.
Mm. She's checking the mystery box. Is there something in the mystery box?
No,
I'm sorry. Wah, 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 wah. Just take a little rest. That's all I got. Every now and then, you're just doing too much, and you need to. I just saved her work. Save it, save it. Mm. Wow, you ate a lot. You ate,
huggy.
she ate eggs, she ate oatmeal, she ate chicken. Mm. Oh, mm. Oh, you need a break?
Yes.
Um, all right. Well, did you stay up late? I was up later than I should have been.
Dad, let's go to bed.
Okay. She want to go take a nap, and she ate a lot, so I'm gonna sign off, and we'll take a nap, and we'll come back.